Welcome to the F50 Woman podcast, dedicated to sharing stories from a diverse community of women in order to provoke you into a passionate pursuit of life, build unshakable character, and achieve extraordinary things. Now, here is your host, Julia Jack.
She was born in South Africa during the age of apartheid, which inspired her to want to expose injustice to the world. So she became an accountant. Yes, you heard me right. She became an accountant. But that's because life blinded her from her truth and she got derailed from her purpose. But the floodgates finally opened, and now she's not exposing others to the world. She's exposing others to themselves. Come in and hear her whole journey as I chat with Jenny Mason from across the sea. You might learn how to find your truth too. She's a businesswoman. She's a single mom. She's a transformational coach. Come in and listen to this talented and spiritual F50 woman. Hey, F50 woman, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are with Jenny Mason, and she is a certified transformation coach and the founder of Imagine Coaching. And as we know, what we are right now and what we're doing right now is not the sum total of our experience and experiences. And so I know Jenny has background that goes way beyond that because I've read about her a little bit. I'm looking forward to you, Jenny, sharing your story with us today. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to our chat, and it's lovely to be here.
So I know you're not. I'm in the United States in the East Coast, and I know you are not because our time zones are different. So please tell us, where are you chatting with us from?
I'm chatting from the Netherlands.
Oh, cool.
And it's 6 o'clock in the evening here right now. So,
nice. And what is the weather like in the Netherlands? It's this time of year. It's going into winter for us.
Going into autumn, but we had a beautiful week last week, but today's been a bit rainy and then a bit of sun, sort of showers. Yeah.
Okay.
And about 22 or so not too bad.
Okay. And is that typical for your area this time? I know we've had extreme rain over here.
I think last week people were talking about an Indian summer, but it lasted for 3 days. So there you go.
Okay. Well,
it doesn't really set in though.
Right. Well, let's hear about who you were. Could you share with us a little bit about who you were as a younger woman, what you were like, what you wanted to be when you grew up, anything you want to share with us about you?
Yeah, I think what's quite important in my life to share with you is that I was born in South Africa and I grew up there in the time of apartheid.
Wow.
And,
okay.
That had quite an effect on me because as a child I was really confused by, for example, we had a live-in maid, as we called them, and I absolutely loved her. She looked after me. I made gravy with her, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the things I remember. But yet the way my parents would talk about her, or it just didn't make sense to me. You know, it was contradictory to me. So once I grew up, what I really wanted to become was a journalist. See, I absolutely loved writing and reading. I was a girl in South Africa. We had school uniforms. So I was a girl with 2 books in each blazer pocket.
Wow. Okay.
Just loved reading. Yeah. And I loved writing. So it kind of fitted to be a journalist, but it was more to expose all the injustices in the world, you know, and just show people what's going on, etc. Which actually, as a child, I didn't really know. It confused me a lot.
Okay.
But I didn't know really I didn't understand it. I was totally confused. But when I got to university, I started to get understanding of what was really going on and so on.
Okay. And you went to university in South Africa, or did you leave the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of things that happened to me as a child, which is now a lot of the work I do, I actually formed quite some negative, non-serving beliefs. So, for example, my father was really very withdrawn and kind of ignored me. And I tried everything to get his attention.
Wow. Okay.
And it never worked.
Yeah.
Those kind of things led me to believe that I didn't deserve anything.
Wow.
And was pretty useless and was unlovable. And that's really my story, how that affected me until a few years ago when I managed to break out of my chains that bound me, for a large extent self-inflicted, and saw into the world of entrepreneurship, but also following my heart for the first time. So when I really wanted to be a journalist, but then my head started saying, no, but that's a BA, that's bugger all, or whatever. Your parents are paying. Go and do something where you don't know if you'll get a job. Go and do something where you'll surely get a job. So I became a chartered accountant.
Oh boy, that's so different.
Yeah, that's very different, right? And I actually did psychology for 2 years as an extra subject. But eventually I had to just carry on that path I'd chosen.
Right.
So when I graduated and I worked for KPMG, an auditing company, and I was standing in a row when we graduated with all these men, young men in grey, all wearing grey suits and all standing in a row. And I just was pretty horrified, realizing I didn't fit in at all,
Right. Yeah. That's
However,
a visual. That's a
path.
vision. Yeah. That's a visual. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just suppressed all my feeling and I worked in banking for 30 years. When I came to the Netherlands, I actually still worked in banking, and I did finance and I did change management.
Oh, okay.
Change management I much preferred because that was variation, different teams, different projects. So that was quite exciting. So that was better.
Yeah.
However, I was still just using my head.
Right.
What happened was I worked for one company for 30 years. I did different things within it because it was a very big company.
Yeah.
And I sort of had a lot of loyalty to the company, and it was like my baby. I hoped every project would work. And that was really the strong feeling that I wanted that things to work out well,
Yeah.
But eventually the company said we had to reapply. There were lots of reorganizations before, but we had to reapply for our jobs.
Right.
Because we were going agile, and, even if you worked in your job, it didn't mean you were agile personality.
Goodness. Okay.
So we had to do personality tests or whatever. And my result, me being with those old beliefs, I always believed I failed every single exam I ever wrote. I never failed an exam until the board exam for my CPA. Then I did. Very good self-sabotage on the big things, right?
Yes.
But even though I never failed, I always was convinced I had. So, of course, you can imagine when I had to apply for my job, what my negative belief was saying, you're not going to get it, right?
Right.
And I'm a single mom with a child and a mortgage, and I'd had a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
But that just terrified me. At that moment, my feelings started coming out, if you like. I couldn't sort of hide them any longer by just being really busy as a single mom, a full-time working mom. I was just always busy.
Yeah.
I didn't give myself time to stop and think, I've got one life. What am I doing,
Yeah.
It's just daily.
Yes. Yeah. Especially as a single mother with a child, you're just making sure everything gets taken care of.
The tasks.
Yeah.
I was doing the tasks. But after that trigger, when I actually, for the first time ever, came home and started sobbing to my son, I said, I'm going to lose my job because this test result is disastrous.
And you didn't get the result of the test yet?
No, I had.
Oh, you
I
had.
didn't like what they said, I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to, when they read this, they're going to say, we don't want her,
Oh gosh. Did it highlight something you didn't expect? Did it say you were more of a feeler, or what did it say?
Yeah, well, what I understood, I actually did have the courage to take it out again. It wasn't nearly as bad as I found it then.
Right.
But it was something about I'm pretty lazy. You know, I thought I'd found my work-life balance quite well, that I'd stopped being a perfectionist. I was really proud while I was doing the test. Yeah. But I popped pretty lazy. Don't expect much. Sort of, that's where I interpreted it.
Right, okay.
Anyway, I did get the job, but that experience, that it's my baby, the company, I really want to do well, this must succeed, that just disappeared with that process.
Okay.
And when that disappeared, I started feeling for a start.
Feeling, yeah.
And I started, although I thought, how dare you say this, but I'm honest. So I am honest. That's who I am.
Yeah.
So I said, I do feel like a very well-paid slave. And what it meant was same old, 9 to 5, someone else telling you what to do.
Yep.
And then my heart wasn't in it anymore. There was no excuse. I always had to make excuses. You know, when I started, I felt I'm not benefiting man or beast with financial reporting. I mean, maybe shareholders, but I really couldn't feel it. There was no feeling I'm benefiting anybody.
Yeah.
And that was really tough for me, you know?
Yes. Your purpose and who you were was not aligning with what you were doing.
Misaligned. Total misfit, really.
Yeah. So would you say that was your pivot moment? That was the moment?
That was my pivot moment.
Okay. Yeah. So then what did you do after that? You went home, you're devastated.
I got the job. I had the interview and I went home and but it was more a process. I'm not really such a fast person. I'm sort of a process person.
Right.
But it started dawning on me, hey, hang on a minute. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
That's
a thing.
Got one life.
Yes, that's right.
However, strangely enough, so there was always a resilient part of me, obviously, that kept me going. There was always some joyous, happy part somewhere that kept me going.
Right.
But I started thinking, you know what, I've got a lot of talents that I'm not using. Why would that be? Right. So I'm also quite a spiritual person.
Okay.
And that started coming back. Why was I given all these talents and I'm not using them? What's the point of that?
Yes.
And I don't like waste. And I started feeling like I was letting someone down, you know. Right. I don't know if you want to call it God or the universe.
Someone.
If I had a mission.
Yes.
And I have been given everything to fulfill the mission and I'm not doing it. I'm doing exactly the opposite. What's that about? You know?
What was this mission? I'm feeling like it was clarified. How did that come about where you were like, aha, this is what I'm going to do?
That was quite amazing, actually. So we had the trigger.
Okay, that's right.
The growing awareness. That's what we had.
Yeah.
And then through my company, I decided to do a career boost training.
Okay.
So this was a training to sort of find out, which was obviously terrifying for me, what strengths you had, because of course then I didn't have any at all, did I? However,
at least that you couldn't see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was blinded, right? So I went into that and it was very intensive. And you had a lot of stuff about yourself. You had to write and we had to do pictures, terrifying. We had to sell ourselves or whatever. But all with all, suddenly in the last month, or even 3 months, but you went once a month or once every 2 weeks. It was, and we spoke to each other. It was really, very good course. And then suddenly we had a sort of ring with all your strengths, weaknesses, whatever.
Right.
And then in the middle, I just wrote inspirational coach. And I thought, where the heck did that come from? I hadn't discussed it with anyone at all, but it fitted, you know?
Yeah.
So I said,
it just seemed to fit all the different things you were coming up with in this chart or this program. Okay.
But I hadn't thought of it. It just popped out and I wrote it down in the center of all this. And I said, right, so I want to become an inspirational coach. What is that? I've never heard of that. And I'm a transformational coach because I'm still not sure what an inspirational coach is. So maybe that'll be coming later.
Right.
in life.
Yes.
I'll start off as a transformation coach.
Yes.
Yeah, so what happened then was I went to Glastonbury. I don't know if you've heard of Glastonbury in the UK.
I haven't, but you know what? Ironically, I live in Glastonbury in Connecticut.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm
Okay,
sure we
that's
took that
fun.
name. Yeah, when America was, who knows? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Glastonbury has got an incredible history, spiritual history.
Wow.
It
Okay.
was King Arthur was buried there, apparently.
Okay.
It's a lot to do. I don't know if you've heard about Avalon, the
Yes.
goddesses of Avalon. That's
Mhm.
the place where Avalon was.
Okay.
That's very spiritual. You've got the chalice wells. You've got a stream of water.
Mhm.
Actually, it's two streams. They call it the blue stream and the white stream
Okay.
that have been flowing for 10,000 years non-stop. And it still flows. It's very cold water. And you
Okay.
fill up your, it's holy water kind of thing. You fill up your bottles while you're there or your things with this holy water straight out the ground and you just
Mhm.
drink it.
Wow.
And it's amazing. There's a
Mhm.
huge concert, rock concert there, but that's not in the town itself. That's a bit further out.
Okay.
But it's a sort of hippie town, really. Very interesting people, you know,
Okay.
massage, all the new wave, all the new age stuff is there, you know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went there with someone who organized it and four other women, and we just like clicked. We just got on so well. We'd never met.
Okay.
It was a great start, you know.
Okay.
And then we did meditation and we had to draw Avalon cards. And I got Rhiannon, who I really resonated with. She's on a unicorn. She is the connection between heaven and earth. She can manifest anything if she's got a clear intention.
Okay.
She's just beautiful. So I was like meditating on that. I was sitting by the chalice wells with these women.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this little red robin that was just flying around me the whole time. I kind of felt if I put out my hand, he would land on it.
Just
But
land
I
on
didn't
it.
want to do that. He was just around. I just noted that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened, but it was just incredible experience.
Okay.
And then we were going to walk up to the Tor, which is a hill with a very old, well, what remnants of the old church.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also the Avalon place there.
Okay.
And suddenly we walked past an oracle. The oracle, whatever that was, I didn't even know was there. Once a month she came.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, or half of us said, we have to go. I mean, we walked past, it's open, you know, it's got to be, we're going.
Yeah.
And we had to meditate on our question for the oracle.
Okay.
So I said, what is my question for the oracle?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it was about half an hour of meditating, trying to find up a question, words coming to me.
Right.
And my question was, how can I let go of my self-hatred and fear to fulfill my mission?
Nice.
And then we went through a process of air. So there was bird feathers to cleanse you, and then there was water, and then there was fire, and then there was earth, you know, to be cleansed. And then I went to see the oracle, and this person was in like a cage, and you couldn't see it as a person. It was very strange, but I'd never been to an oracle. I didn't know what that was. Really.
Right. I
So
know.
I
I'm just
didn't know
thinking
what
about a
to
movie. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So I started crying, which was unexpected because, as I've said, I was a person who shut off my feelings a lot. So I hardly ever cried in my life, you know, never mind in front of this oracle.
Yeah.
But it was emotional, very emotional. And I asked her that question. How can I let go of my self-hatred to fulfill my mission, which was expansion, integration, connection, and compassion? I had no idea what did that mean. And I thought expansion and integration, those seem to be, opposites.
Yeah.
What am I doing? But that's what came to me. So that's what I did. Following my intuition, following my heart. And that's what she told me. She told me that things in my childhood or my experiences were not meant to block me, meant to make me strong, to fulfill my mission. And she said, you've got everything you need to fulfill your mission in your heart.
Okay.
So you just go and do it. And she said to me, you must use your intuition. That's your major strength.
Wow.
And then she said to me, and you've got very strong lineage, like that's within the goddesses. I was so happy about that. Strong lineage. Because like with my parentage and that didn't seem nice. With my dad, I often wished I was adopted. So for someone to say in the goddess world, you've got lineage, I thought that felt lovely.
Yes. Yeah. Close.
And then she said, you're never alone. The Lady of Avalon is always with you, whatever. So, and that was a great experience. And that's when I decided, I'd been coached 2 times and I'd said, I'd love to do this myself.
Okay.
And that's when I decided I was going to change my life, follow my heart. That was probably the main thing, and become a coach.
Yeah.
A life coach and a transformation coach is what I call myself. But basically it falls under the category of life coach.
Coaching, yeah. So what you did was you went back home, you quit your job that day, and that was it.
Not quite.
Was it that simple? Yeah. So how did that happen? What happens next? You got me intrigued. Yeah.
Have you heard of synchronicity in life when things fall into place?
Yeah.
So what happened, I still was working, obviously, and I went back, and then there was yet another reorganization.
Oh, goodness.
And because I'd worked there for 30 years, I ended up getting a good package if I wanted to take it.
Okay.
So that's what I did.
And now is that considered retirement, or was that?
Yeah.
Sort of a retirement.
Not a retirement, but a sort of, I don't know.
It wasn't with the intention of coming back.
No, it's a package.
It's a package.
And then you go.
And you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because you can't get that if you just decide I want to go, it's because there's a reorganization and they want to get rid of people.
Gotcha.
So they say to the older people, you may choose if you want to go.
Okay.
So I said, righty, there we go. I'm off. Okay.
Yeah. What's my multiplier? Let's go. Yeah. Nice. So how long has it been since that happened?
Not that long, actually. I'm quite a newie in this new world. It's
that's
2019. 2019.
Okay.
Just as a last thing, when I had decided, which was scary as well, because having 10 more years to go before my official retirement, the project that we'd all been working on for a few years just got stopped because it wasn't delivering. So then I said, wow, that's definitely showing me it's the right decision.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Can't take too many more things off the table to make it more obvious. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because I was nervous. I was a person who really went for safety a lot, and using my head, that was to do with safety. So to take this leap of faith was a big deal for me.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and then I did a coach training, which is really wonderful, the MMS Worldwide Institute, and it was for personal development as well as learning to coach. It was just brilliant.
Okay.
And then I started my own business at the beginning of 2020, just before the pandemic.
Yes.
And
how is it?
Besides that, following my heart has been a path that's just been absolutely wonderful, and actually discovering I am a feeling person. That's who I am. So when I cut my feelings, I was pretty much killing myself,
Yes.
And now I've become alive again.
Yes.
In my 50s. But who cares? The 30s might have been better, but never mind. I'm alive.
That's right. Now is good. Yes.
Yeah, now is good. Yeah.
Yes. And I wonder, and maybe in your practice you have noticed, but I wonder if that's a female thing. If a good number of us do that, feeling like, especially those of our age when we were coming up, it was always about the businessman. So all that female stuff was just not appreciated, even by us.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely that. That's why I also do team coaching. And I like this new leadership style, which is about more compassion, more leading means a leader should be, their task is to look after the people and inspire them,
Right.
With compassion to try and get them more fulfillment.
Right.
And I think when I was working, it was mainly men. I noticed biases. I did courses on that and so on as well.
Okay.
But I think it is the female energy is really needed now.
Yeah.
The female energy is needed, the strong female, and getting out there with the energy is important now, because we need to change things around,
Yes. Yeah.
We need to find the softer side,
Yeah.
but soft sounds so strong and soft. Again, it sounds like a contradiction, but it's absolutely not, because the only real way to show compassion to others is when you have self-compassion.
Yes.
If I am accepting and can even love, which is a lot of what I'm doing for my own personal self-development now, all those parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
For example, that child in me that feels she's not deserving often blocks me from doing things. But I have to love that child. But when I know that part of me is a child, do you know how much pain that child is in? Then I can be compassionate to that part of me. Mm-hmm. When someone else acts out, and I somehow know it's from maybe that same fear, I'm not good enough or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm compassionate to myself, I'm immediately double compassionate to them, because I see the core is that hurt child again,
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So from being a journalist trying to show and expose all the bad things in the world, I feel what I'm doing now is actually the same goal in a way.
Yeah.
But it's working completely differently. Instead of exposing others,
right,
it's getting you to really look inwards, to connect with yourself and others and the planet. It's very important. The planet is becoming very important to me, or Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Very powerful influence on me. And I feel if you connect to yourself and then you can connect to others, also then respect yourself and respect others, you also respect the bird and the bee and the leaves.
Yes.
And then it seems to be a very long path, but I'm hoping in that way people will just start saving our planet, just by respecting it.
Yes.
But also saving ourselves by respecting ourselves, and each other. So I'm doing it in a more personal way now.
Yes. Yeah. Individual or teams or personal. And I absolutely agree with you. It's like we have to heal ourselves. And once we're healed and once we love ourselves, I know that has been used a lot in the past, but it's a real thing, because loving yourself isn't just, oh yeah, I love me. And, sort of that I'm the bomb or I'm the greatest kind of ego stuff. It's really, like you said, understanding that inner child and having compassion for yourself and for what you went through and for what you suppressed. I think it's just amazing that you've come to that point. And I don't care when you come to that point.
That's true.
You come to it. Yes. And that's a lot. I think a lot of people go through to 105 and just don't get it.
There is something scary, I think. People seem to feel that if you feel, it's going to be scary, because all that stuff you don't want to look at is going to come bubbling up. What I coach is, there's nothing really scary about feeling, the emotion, the feeling, but it's the story you attach.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. See, that proves no one loves me. See, that's those stories. Those are the things that trip you up. If you just let the feeling be there and you're saying, wow, okay, this part of me is hurting now, I'll just acknowledge and let it be.
Yeah.
It can't really stay around for very long. And you can also put it in your heart, because if you just don't attach a story, it goes away. It comes and goes. Feelings come and go. When you're happy, you go, woo, woo, woo. But
yes.
In a half an hour. And it's the same with the sadness, I think. But when you do a story, isn't it terrible that that's happened? Oh, my God, what's going to happen to me? Yeah. And you feed the fuel of your story. That's the one that can go on and on and on,
I love that, because that is so true. Why is that when we're so unhappy or sad or hurt. It's the story that you keep. It just almost like builds to this saga and it
Yeah.
continues. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, break out of your story, and I say to people, I am also still going through my processes,
Yeah.
but now I've had it twice. We've actually written this story and it's very dramatic. And, I've written a little tiny book, but still my first one, called Life is Just an Illusion, Create Your Own Reality. And it's just to do with the thoughts, the way you think, etc. You can
Yeah.
change those thoughts if you're aware of them. We often not. But I will also go through my moments, and then I'll write them. But there's now a part of me that's kind of observing and saying, whoa, Jen, you can really do the drama. Come on, do it a little more. And then I'll write, life is just an illusion. So why bother?
Yeah.
But there's one part of me that's kind of observing and a very sort of patient part. And then, but I do write it because it's important to read it through again and say, this is where I can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it. Don't deny it. It's part of who I am, that I can really tell myself a story and I can really get very dramatic about it.
Yes. That'd be great to understand that we have drama in our minds. You could write it down and say, oh my gosh, that's me. I could really go there.
Yeah.
That's a strategy. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you advise your younger self to do or to say or to be?
I would definitely advise her to follow your heart, at least to some extent. I mean, I think all of us, when we're starting out, we need, all our lives, we need, to do something with our lives. But if you really do what you love doing, you will be successful, I believe, and you will always love it. If it's your passion, if you live in alignment, my mission is to help people be free to be themselves, so their authentic self.
Yeah.
But that does mean following your heart. And at the very least, take some time to, I say, visualize. And then people say, I can't see pictures. You don't have to see pictures. I'm a feeling person. I'm visualizing feelings, right?
Okay, right.
But your ideal life, go for the big one. The most ideal life you could ever imagine. Because the amazing thing is that quite a few of the things you will write down or whatever you do, draw, however you do it, you will see are not that far away. They're pretty much achievable.
Yeah.
But even greater than that, it helps you to know what you love. People can forget with that busyness.
Oh, yeah.
What about me? What do I love? I don't even know anymore. When my son was young and he went to a party or something, I've got 2 hours. What do I do now? I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, what do you do?
Right?
I remember those times, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you kind of did not much of anything, and when you could have been visualizing your ideal life. So where am I now?
Yes. Can I tell you a story right there? I mean,
Sure.
I am so with you on that because I remember a time when I have 5 kids. So 4 of them were pretty much in college doing whatever they needed to do. My son had a game and my husband took him to the game. And so I had probably the whole day to myself. I said, oh, this is great. I have a whole day. I went, I got myself some ice cream. I drove my car and I think I sat in the parking lot and I literally cried because I said, I have no idea what to do with myself. So that's really a serious thing. We completely have no idea what we like and who we are. So yeah.
That's the lack of connection, because that, as I said, my connection was one of my words, and that's a very important word because connect to yourself at least and find out how you're doing. Every now and again, allow yourself that time and space.
Yeah. And how would you advise us to keep that, as our families are growing and as our lives are changing? How do we keep that connection?
You need to find a little time. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Okay.
But we all maybe do some sport, or we worry about our diets quite a bit these days, more and more.
Yeah.
Yet our mental health, we just we just totally ignore it. So that is what needs to change.
Yeah.
But I've got a very good one that's extremely quick that you can do daily.
Nice.
And that's, I call it calling the cab, right?
Okay.
Do you have cabs, or you have taxis, I guess?
We do, and we do a lot of
cab, right?
Ubers now. So they're like cabs, but
Cab, okay.
yeah, a new version where you have an app and all that stuff. Yeah.
So the most difficult part is to actually remember to do it in your busy day. So what you can do is say, well, when I'm boiling the kettle for my cup of tea, or when I'm switching on the coffee machine, or when I'm going to the bathroom maybe, then I'm going to call the cab. So it's very easy. What you do, the C is just to become conscious of me, you. So you just say, how am I doing? So now the kettle's boiling, tick, conscious.
Yeah.
How am I doing?
Okay.
Question. Then you follow your breathing in and out. That's the attention.
Yeah.
And now you're moving from your head into your body. You follow that a few times.
Yeah.
So that's the A for attention. And then the B is your body. So now you do a little body scan. Now, depending how much time, if you want 30 seconds, it's going to be really quick. You're going to say, but if you've got 3 minutes, you might start with your head. How's my jaw? Is it tense? How my shoulders, my neck?
Yeah.
And each time you relax with the out breath, that part that you're looking at. And then if there are any real tense spots or painful areas, you just breathe in and out a few times in those. And then you say, what do I need, if anything? Now, people tell me they were freezing cold. Now, they're sitting working on the computer.
Yeah.
And when they actually realize they're freezing cold, or they're starving, they realize, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten anything today.
Yes.
So it works really well. And it doesn't have to take long.
The B stood for the last
body. That you're now in your body. Yeah. You're always trying to go from those thoughts that are racing away into your body.
Yeah.
And you're following your breath. It makes you fully present in the here and now. And that's when you know what you need.
Okay. Conscious attention and breathing, or body.
Body, and breathing. Attention is your breathing and your body.
That's a good one. I'm going to remember that starting now, to call the cab when I trigger the coffee machine, because oftentimes I'm sitting at that darn desk, I tell you, for like 6 hours, freezing to death. My fingers are blue, and you're just not paying attention. Why not? If it was your child, you would say, hey, you need a sweater?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's self-care, that we neglect ourselves badly, and it's time to stop.
It's time to stop it. Stop it.
Another one is walking in nature, right? Because nature's got a powerful healing effect, I believe. And even if you're talking or thinking, I'm going to do this with my clients that I coach outdoors, but I would love to know if there's anyone who's ever walked into a forest or whatever, however they're feeling, and walked out feeling worse. I can't believe it's possible, but maybe.
Yes, I know. Yeah, tell me, whoever's listening, let us know if that's ever happened to you and why. Yeah, other than something bad happened
on you. But...
Right, then we understand. I agree. Yeah, when does that ever happen?
So that's another good one. And of course, you can also try when you're walking, not to think. It all does help when you've got a problem. I resolve a lot of problems beating the path, but if you maybe step away from that, even for a few minutes of your walk, and just start really looking at what's going on around you, notice the bird, notice the tree, notice the water, how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
So it's using your senses that calms you down as well, because it takes you out of your head. Our mind is the thing that really can cause all sorts.
So much
when we
power.
come back to ourselves, we feel a lot better when we connect to ourselves.
Yes. So what's next for you? What's the next stage?
Well, because I'm new, I'm still building up my business.
Okay.
So, I love to do these podcasts. I'm growing my team coaching, my individual coaching. So I'm basically going to be doing more of the same. I want to now write a slightly longer book.
Okay.
The one I wrote was 2,500 words or something very small.
Okay.
But it's fun and it was good. So it's actually more for me now. I'm writing little things I remember from my childhood because I actually didn't remember much at all for many years. Kind of suppressed it, right?
Yeah.
Now, any little thing I'm just writing, and who knows what that will be. But I guess it's about old beliefs, To me, what's so important is to know what's driving you, those subconscious things, because they learned from a young age, and then they go into your subconscious and they drive you, and you don't even know they're doing it. So just to become aware of those things that don't serve you anymore. That's what I want to show people through my workshops or through my coaching or whatever.
Yeah, to help them to realize and tap into. Yeah.
Yeah, making people more conscious, more aware of themselves, connect better to themselves, and really find out what they really want, what they really love, and what they really want. That's so important. When you're doing that, you're happy, right?
Yeah.
People should be happy.
Yes. Life is short, very, very short. So
life is short.
Yeah. So a couple more questions. What is one book that you would advise all women to read?
Untamed.
Okay.
Do you know it? Glennon Doyle.
I don't. I feel like I do, but it could be a movie I'm thinking about. Tell us why. Why would you advise that?
Because she she shows you how it is to follow your heart, right? That's what her book is about. And it's not always easy following your heart. Often you must do things that are against the tribe, which you do want to still belong to often.
Yes.
Often you've got to be honest to be your true self, and the other person isn't going to like it.
Yeah.
So it's not always easy, but oh so worth it. And that's what she does so beautifully in her book. So.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And then what is one thing that you can't miss doing every day?
Meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, I started doing that when I was going through this change and during the pandemic, and it's brilliant. I just I love it because that's a way to connect with yourself for a longer period of time.
Okay. And I know when you're new to meditation, I don't know if this happened to you, but oftentimes people say, I just can't settle down. I can't just sit there. My mind starts thinking about the dishes and the dog and the work. How do you get to the process where you're just still?
By accepting that that will always happen every single time you meditate.
Okay.
When you notice, which hopefully you do, at first you might not even, then you are very kind to yourself. You have to have the compassion. So you just say, oops, there I go again. I'm following that thought, or I've made up a story.
Okay.
Follow your breathing. Come back and follow your breathing again. And then it'll happen again. Same process. Okay. Allow it to be, right? It's part of you.
Okay. And do you get to a point where you're just still, like the still waters, where your mind is just floating?
I do. And some days it's, well, I'll tell you a little secret.
Okay, please
I don't think everyone
like
has
secrets.
this in meditation, but I always look out at nature, a tree, and then I actually have a different perception. I start seeing the trees moving more, whatever. It gets thicker, and sometimes I even can see animals. I guess it's like when you're looking at the clouds, I'll see a lioness or whatever, quite a few, whatever. So to me, it's absolutely magical. Yeah. So I feel like exquisite beauty, and I feel great things. So that's probably not classic meditation, but that's what happens to me. But even if I have 30 seconds of stillness in 30 minutes, that's beautiful. That's enough even to make it worthwhile. So I do get to that sometimes, that I'm absolutely just feel that incredible calmness, but it's often just incredible joy, And when I started, I'd be wanting to go like, yoo. You're not supposed to do that when you meditate. But there was so much joy in it.
Right. That's wonderful. And I love that you shared that, because when I think about meditation, I'm thinking eyes closed, silent room, none of your senses are active. And I was wondering if you could do that while you're looking at something, while you're sort of still aware, but you can still be
to
quiet.
Me, it's about being in the here and now. So I'm always checking, even if I'm seeing, can I still feel my feet on the ground? And then when I blink, because some people might say she goes into a psychotic state or something like that.
Right.
But I know when I blink, I can see it completely, whatever, normally again. So it's like, I believe it's just a different perception. I'm seeing a little more maybe energy or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But to me, it's a very spiritual thing, and it feeds me. I absolutely love it. So even if it's not classic, I do it that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rules. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has come up with the rule book that the universe has come up with and dropped down to earth for us. Yeah.
It's like, Jenny, I'm giving you a magic show again today. Well, I'm certainly not going to say I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
No, that's not right.
Not anymore.
This wonderful thing is wrong. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's an incredible story. It's a journey across a continent, and your transformation was amazing. And I know a lot of women will connect with it in terms of shutting themselves off, and maybe they haven't even realized it, or may not even realize it yet, but hopefully they'll hear you talking and say, it's okay to feel something.
And you deserve to be free to be who you are. Yes,
we need to know that, because I don't think we do. You're okay as you were built. Your mission is your mission. Exactly. I love it. Thank you so much. So tell us how our listeners can get in touch with you. Tell us about your website. Tell us how we can connect with you and the work you do, and even work with you.
Well, my website is called Imagine Coaching, but it's IMAJEN. It's Jen for Jenny. It was also something I dreamed.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually I am Jen, or I Ma Jen. Imagine.
Yes, I love it.
So it's imaginecoaching.com.
Okay.
And that's my website. And on that is all my contact deals.
Great.
But I've also got a LinkedIn site, but that's probably difficult to say here, because it's just Jenny Mason Imogen.
Okay. Yes, we will. I will put that link in the bio that I write up with the podcast, and everybody will be able to connect with it.
Because you have my website.
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah.
It's a different spelling to normal Imagine.
Right. I love it because it has Jen in there, and I am Jen. I love it. Well, thank you again for joining us all the way across the ocean from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful to be here.
You've been listening to the F50 Woman podcast. Join the F50 Woman movement and this diverse group of voices to help change the world one woman at a time. Why should you join at your age? Because we're not done yet.